Rose Bowl and Big Ten go hand in hand in this season as Ohio State celebrates the 100th anniversary of Ohio Stadium. The fact of the matter is, unlike the previous century, getting to the Rose Bowl is not enough anymore, as Ryan Day clearly pointed out today in Indianapolis.
Maybe at some places 11-2 with a Rose Bowl victory is a good year. It isn't at Ohio State. And so our three goals are beat the team up north, win the Big Ten championship, win the national championship. That's the goal. Those three things didn't happen last year. I think our guys are a little scarred. They're a little calloused. They know what it's like to lose a game, and that's not fun.
When your season's over, so to speak, you look back and ask why, and what you could have done wrong, and that's a game where we can pull a lot of things from, and you just see the scoreboard, and that's motivation. You don't really need too much.
I feel like every failure that you don't learn from is an L, but every failure that you do learn from is a W. So I definitely just learn from it, learn how to game manage better from that game, when to take the shot, when not to, moving in the pocket. There's a lot of different things you can take from that game.
And that Rose Bowl victory, the second half comeback, showed leadership that perhaps was lacking in some of the games in 2021. And going into this season, that leadership will be the focus of Ohio State.
You get what you emphasize, and we're going to emphasize it. And that's just the way that we're going to kind of approach things and the way we practice. And everybody in the building's got to believe in it. And if we do that, we're going to get it done.
If you ask me what a quarterback is, I definitely think I would say a leader. And I think on and off the field, I think off the field is probably more important. If you build trust, I think leadership is all about trust. If I have trust for my guys, and they'll do anything for me, and I can do anything for them.
Jim Knowles is the new defensive coordinator, but Ryan Day has the same goals for his defense.
Yeah, we expect a top 10 defense. I mean, that's what we want. And, when we've played our best football, it's because we played really good defense, and we've been balanced and played complementary football. So, we want to obviously stop the run to begin with and then go from there.
The freedom that the guys have as far as just knowing that you're an athlete, you can go make a play. You don't need to be thinking about 1,000 things at one time, and just slow the game down. It's a lot simpler than people can make it out to be. So once the game gets slower, it allows the player to play faster.
A bunch of guys running the ball and blowing up play in the backfield with about 10 guys jumping up and down all over each other with great energy, great passion, great confidence, talking, and that's what you want. Guys playing tough with great pad level, knocking the heck out of people. I mean, that's what defensive football, should look like. And we saw some of that this spring, and I think our defense has been edgy, and that's the way they should be.
You see him on Bally Sports. You're going to see him a lot more this fall on the Big Ten Network. We're joined by Joshua Perry, former Ohio State linebacker. Of course, now he's talking about football, talking about a lot of other sports as well. Joshua, let's talk a little about this Ohio State Buckeye team. You went through a lot as an Ohio State player. You never lost to Michigan. That's what these guys are dealing with.
Yeah, and it's tough. There's a standard that's been set at Ohio State, and the standard is that you want to go out there and win every game, and that includes beating Michigan. So for them, I know that there is a renewed sense of urgency on their behalf in that part of the rivalry, which I think is good. And quite frankly, it's a wake-up call to the program. And I'm not saying that anybody got complacent because I know how they operate over there, but it's always a good thing when you can actually feel it because it creates something a little bit different. And you hear stories of guys who had played before, and one of the things that you always ask is, how many pairs of gold pants do you have? And they'll tell you the cautionary tales about losing to Michigan, but until you feel some of the losses, it's not really real to them. So this team is going to look totally different on the field. Obviously, a lot of the same guys out there, but I think the sense of urgency is certainly going to be cranked up.
And that sense of urgency brought on with a whole new defensive coaching staff, practically. Larry Johnson, the only holdover from last year's defensive staff. What have you seen from Jim Knowles, and what have you seen in that install so far?
Yeah, I've been able to talk to Jim Knowles a couple of times. He's really excited about being able to work with the players at Ohio State. And one of the things that he said to me is that Oklahoma State had a top 5 defense, and they didn't have any 4 or 5 star players out there. And so when you're working with a high caliber of player, obviously it enhances the scheme. But Jim Knowles brings something very different. He wants to play offense on defense. And what that means is that he wants his defense to be unpredictable and aggressive, and offenses have to react to him instead of him reacting to the offenses. And so I think that's going to be good. You're going to see safeties lined up, 9 yards from the ball. You're going to see kind of a curtain of a secondary, so you can't off the snap already know if it's single high or too high, which I think gives a little bit of a disguise that Ohio State didn't have a year ago. So a lot of changes. I think they're all great changes, and quite frankly, the personnel's fired up about it too. And you talk to the players, they're ready to go.
All right, thank you very much, Joshua Perry. You can see him on the Big Ten Network as well as Bally Sports. Preseason is here. The offseason is over. Ohio State, Notre Dame, September 3rd. Buckeyes will report to camp a week from today. Their first practice coming up on Thursday, August the 4th. In Indianapolis, Mark Kuntz, BCSN.